Hello, everyone. Today we have a very special guest with us. She is actually everybody wants to talk to her. Okay, she's of such stature. Today we have with us rank 11 in UPSC and rank 34 in JKPSC. So she is also our batchmate and currently an accounts officer undergoing training. So, ma'am, I welcome you on this platform and thank you for giving us an opportunity to interact with you.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you for inviting me.
Our pleasure, ma'am. Ma'am, there were so many queries that we were getting from students, how to start. Because now since UPSC and JKAS both are going, getting difficult day by day. So now everybody wants that re-strategize their study, etc. So that is why we thought we include people like you and get some valuable insights on the preparation, etc. So, ma'am, to begin with, I would like to know how did you plan your prelims? Like, did you go subject by subject in prelims in GS, and first you covered GS and then you shifted to CSAT? How was it like, ma'am?
Uh, I would say just that preparation of prelims as well as mains is an integrated preparation. And about 60 to 70% syllabus of both prelims and mains is actually same. So what I did was that I focused first of all at journal studies. And for that, I covered some of the very basic subjects, which are often referred to as the pillars of civil services, like history, polity, economics, geography, environmental science, then art and culture. These were the things that I covered at first. And once I was done with it, I think I was able to complete about 60 to 70% syllabus of both prelims and mains with this. And after this, I shifted towards the CSAT paper. And then I referred R.S. Agarwal sir's textbook for CSAT specifically. In addition to it, I also referred the book of M.K. Pandey sir for CSAT. In this way, I prepared for CSAT. Regarding remaining topics of mains, I prepared a one A4 size paper summary of the remaining topics, and that was a type of handy note for me in order to attempt any question in mains.
Okay, ma'am. You first covered your GS and then you shifted to CSAT. And in CSAT, you referred some books like R.S. Agarwal, etc. Okay, ma'am. What about the mock test? Did you appear in mock test before prelims, or was it on daily basis or weekly basis, or how was it like?
For prelims, I did not took any mock test, primarily because I had a paucity of time for that. And tests for mains, I attempted them.
So, ma'am, you did not take any mock test for prelims? No test at all?
Not for prelims, but for mains.
Okay. There's again some network. It was again stuck. But what I got from your answer was that no test for prelims, but for mains you practice some tests. Okay, ma'am. So for mains, ma'am, how did you, again the same question? Did you go GS to GS, like GS1 first, GS2 second first, GS3 and then 4, and then ethics, or was it again you were doing the different papers together? How was it, ma'am?
Actually, I followed the pattern which was given by Vision IS since I procured their test series. According to those schedules, we had a definite syllabus which was to be covered by a particular test. So I followed the pattern which was set by Vision IS. For example, if on a particular day they had asked a test of Indian history and world history, then I intended to cover that particular portion in those 4 to 5 days, whatever be the span between the two tests. So I so that my preparation would overlap.
Okay, so you followed completely the Vision IAS, their schedule. their strategy, and then you just followed that and you appeared in the test, and that is how you covered your syllabus. Okay, ma'am. Now coming to ma'am ethics, I'm getting so many messages on what sources did you refer on ethics, and how did you make any notes, separate note for ethics, or did you, there are either standard books or there are some ready-made materials like Sunya IAS or IAS Network. Did you go for standard books or some material like that?
So far as ethics paper was concerned, for the study material, I preferred the book by MC Grow publication. It is a very good book from this publication house that covers ethics syllabus from line to line and from page to page. I referred that book. In addition to it, for the ethics paper specifically, I prepared a definition of each and every keyword in the syllabus. Along with it, I supplemented it with about 2 examples and a relevant quotation. And I think all these were the feeder materials for the ethics material. And above all of that, I supplemented it with the previous year's mock tests of the toppers, because this gives an idea of how those people actually attempted exam. And that was especially important for the case studies.
Okay, so you followed a book, MC Graw, and then you used some examples, ready-made examples, quotations, and definitions, and then mock tests of the toppers. Okay, ma'am. And how did you strategize essay? Because there are some people, they follow some particular pattern about essay, like some start with anecdote, some start with current affairs, some with some quote. Ma'am, how did you start it?
I usually preferred to start an essay with an anecdote, because I personally feel that it is a very great manner also, as well as it attracts the attention of examiner towards whatever you are writing. So I used to start with an anecdote. After that, I used to give an overview of the entire essay, and then I used to move on the topic. I used to elaborate topic in all the aspects, covering different dimensions like social, economic, political, environmental. After that, I used to address certain problems which were associated with the topic, and then the way forward, and ultimately the conclusion. This was my format for attempting any essay.
Okay, ma'am, you used anecdote for both the essays?
Uh, yes, I used it both for the philosophical essays as well as those essays which were more or less contextual, classical essays.
Okay, no, ma'am, I'm saying we have to write 2 essays in exam. So in both the essays, you started with anecdote.
Yes, I started both essays with anecdote. I was more comfortable in it.
Okay, ma'am, thank you, ma'am. And ma'am, did you make notes for entire syllabus, like the all the subjects of GS1, then all the subjects of GS2, 3, 4, like that?
I did not make notes per se. I had a habit of reading things from the book itself. But one thing was that I used to read a book about 3 to 4 times, and after that, if I felt that these are the things which I am not able to recall, or I'm not able to understand it properly, then I used to make notes of those topics. Or I would suggest that economics was a thing which was very difficult for me, being from a science background. So I prepared notes of subjects like economics, which was a bit difficult for me.
Okay. So it was not like you prepared notes for entire syllabus. It was very pick and choose type.
Yes, ma'am.
Ma'am, one more thing that comes to my mind is how many tests did you give like before appearing in mains exam, and how many essays did you actually write before exam?
So far as essays was considered, I prepared essay by my own, and I did not purchase any test series for that. But yes, I attempted about 15 to 20 essays before sitting in the examination. So far as a general studies test was considered, I purchased a test series of 13 tests from Vision IS, and I attempted those 13 tests. In addition to it, I used to write about 5 to 6 answers daily on my own initiative at my home.
Oh, that's great. That's why you have excelled and got rank 11. That's great, ma'am. And now, ma'am, regarding interview, what can be the general tips? Because now the JKPSC interviews around the corner, and everybody's texting like how to prepare your interview, and what should be your introduction, and what should be your overall attitude while appearing in the interview, ma'am. Please give some insights.
So far as introduction is considered, I think it is one of the most important stages in the interview. In your introduction, you may mention about your name, followed by the district or the region from which you belong to, and then it should be supplemented by your higher education, probably higher education only, because no one is interested in the school from where you have studied, and then it can be followed by your hobbies, I would suggest. So far as a general attitude towards interview is considered, I think interview is a very important stage that can change you from a normal individual to a blue-eyed person of the society. And in this particular stage, you have to give your best. For that, I think the key is that you have to be yourself. Whatever you are, you have to present like that in the interview, and you have to be very confident. Also, as human beings, it is not possible to know each and everything, and definitely there will be many questions in interview which you may not be able to answer. Then you should not feel guilty or such humiliation in saying sorry. So I think confidence in yourself along with that humility, that is very important to get succeed in interview.
So confidence and humility, these are the keys to succeed. And ma'am, there are so many aspirants, and they ask whether they should focus more on GS and how deep should they go in GS while preparing for interview, and how deep should they go for optional. So, ma'am, can you say something about it?
I think from the perspective of interview, we just need to have a glance of both general studies as well as optional. Because the interviewers, they are not subject specialists per se, and they are also generalist people like us, and they will have a type of knowledge which we will be having after being disconnected from books for 20 or 30 years or so. So I think what is required is a journalistic understanding of your syllabus and a command on the current affairs, and particularly a command on your DAF.
So we don't need to go deeply into GS, just the superficial knowledge, and whatever we already know, we have to brush that up. And for optional, obviously, we need to have a strong hold on the important concepts because they might be asking optional. Correct,
Yes.
ma'am. Now, ma'am, if we compare KS and IS, since you have succeeded in both and you have achieved a very, I would say, awesome ranks. So, ma'am, what did you see? I mean, what was the difference between the KS and IS that you have yourself felt?
Uh, there are differences at multiple levels. Starting from the very basic, from an individual level, I think preparation level is something which is really very different. UPSC has definitely set huge standards as compared to JKPSC. The second thing I would suggest is regarding the question paper. Then after individual's preparation, question paper when it comes to UPSC is slightly more difficult than at JKPSC. And the third thing I would suggest is the pattern of the questions itself. In JKPSC, particularly in mains exams, we have a number of questions which are more or less factual. But in UPSC, they usually prefer to ask contextual questions, and those questions which require your journalistic understanding of the topics. So I think these are some of the important differences between these two exams.
Ma'am, was your study integrated for IAS and KS, or was it like you prepared something for IAS and something for KS? How was it?
Uh, according to my own perspective of what I did, I prepared for UPSC and kept UPSC to be my focus. And I think that is same for each and every individual. When we start from UPSC, and when we are done with that UPSC, state PCS is actually something which just comes under it. So I think if we will take a bigger picture into our mind, smaller will ultimately get fit into it.
Okay, so your focus was UPSC and just KS happened along with it.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, okay, ma'am. So you had fixed sources and you didn't shift from IAS to KS while shifting the sources also. You didn't do that. You had the fixed sources.
Yes,
Okay,
ma'am.
and ma'am, since we have discussed everything about pre-mains and interview, now at the end, I would like to know from you that what should be the, since UPSC is getting tougher day by day, or even the JKPSC is getting tougher, what should be the strategy, or what should be the important keys with the or the tools with the aspirant for appearing in 2024 and 2025?
For any aspirant, I would suggest that at first give ample time to study the pattern of examination. Study previous year's question papers before even starting your preparation, because this will give you an idea of what you are heading towards. After that, once you start your preparation, start with NCRTs, because they will create your required foundation. And after that, shift towards the standard books, which are so called standard books, in which each and every aspirant usually prefers to study. And then I would suggest you to supplement it with the current affairs, be it any newspaper, be it the Hindu, be it the Times of India, any newspaper. And you may supplement it with the current affairs compilation of any institution, be it Vision, be it Insights, be it any other institution. You may supplement it with it. Along with it, I would suggest choose a very good optional in which you are comfortable. I have seen many people who used to who first of all choose a particular optional, but after preparing it for about 1 month or so, they feel that it is beyond their capacity or there are certain issues in it. So choose your optional very wisely, and that optional in which you are really interested in it, and in which you can think that yes, I can do this, because it is really very disastrous when someone fails to clear mains due to a wrong optional. It is very disheartening also. So choose your optional wisely. In addition to it, I would say to all the aspirants, this is an examination that demands commitment from you, and that commitment is very important. That sacrifice is very important. And one of the important sacrifices is social isolation. You have to isolate yourself from each and everything. And finally, have confidence in yourself. When we started, ma'am, we didn't have any hope of clearing any exam, but
Correct.
and that is true for each and every person. But then slowly we just moved on that journey, and this is the same for each and everyone. So have faith in you that you can crack this exam.
Correct, ma'am. So commitment, sacrifice, and then confidence. These are the keywords that you focused on. So, with this, ma'am, it was an awesome session and we got a lot of information. And I'm sure that this would be very fruitful for those who are in pipe, in pipe, and are ready to become the future officers. Thank you, ma'am, for giving your valuable time and your important insights about the exam. Thank you so much, ma'am.
So, thank you.